Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. This is the 6x AI coding stream where I'll be doing some AI coding related content. So for today's stream, we'll be checking out GPT-5. So yeah, it's not much introduction needed. So basically we have GPT-5 released and it's supposed to be better than Opus and Sonnet coding, but there's a lot of news online that says it's not as good. So today we'll be testing out Claude Code using Sonnet 4 versus GPT-5 inside of Cursor, because that's what OpenAI used to show. Yeah, so I'll be talking about my setup for both tools, and then we'll go over the real world projects. So the first project will be the YouTube thumbnail generator that I made a while ago, and then have this visualization thing that I used to use for benchmark of models, but I thought we can also use that to test out the model plus the tool. And then if we have time, we're gonna work on some new features for my Next.js application, 6x writer. So yeah, so that's the plan for today. And the first thing we need to do is to introduce to you all the setup. Okay, so for Claude Code, I'm actually using Claude Code inside of Cursor, so you can see this is the latest Claude Code version, and I'm using the Sonnet model. So that's the model that I'm using on my $20 monthly plan. And for Cursor, we have the latest version of Cursor here. I just updated it, and if I press, there will be no updates available. So this is the latest version, and we have the GPT-5 here, which is actually free for the launch week. So that's nice. So we'll be testing out Cursor and GPT-5. So that's the setup for both. So Claude Code plus Sonnet and Cursor plus GPT-5. So yeah, now with that done, let's move on to the first project, which is the YouTube thumbnail generator app that I built in one of my previous live streams. Yeah, so if you guys want to check out the previous stream where I built this, you can check it out. And so the first thing we want to do is to fix a bug that is quite annoying and we didn't have time to fix last time. So it's the bug about the bounding box detection and rendering when an element is rotated. So what this means is that I have this app that is running. So this is the YouTube thumbnail generator app that I built in my previous stream. So it allows you to make a YouTube thumbnail, and it's working, but there are a few bugs, right? So one of them is the rotation bug. So you can see here I can rotate this element, but as soon as I rotate it, you can see that it's very hard to select this element again, right? I had to create a new cycle element feature to just be able to cycle through the element and reselect it. So I think there's something wrong once the element is rotated, and that's the bug I want to fix today. So that's the first thing I want to try. So how this is gonna work is I'm gonna give the same prompt to both Claude Code and Cursor and GPT-5 and see which one can fix it, or any of them can. So that's how this is supposed to work. Okay. So why don't we start out with GPT-5 first, because that's the new one. So I'm gonna be pointing it to the index.html file. I think that's a good place to point the cursor agent at, and I'm gonna draft the prompt for this problem. So I'm gonna say the bounding box of the text element is not rendering correctly and not detecting the clicks when the element is rotated. Okay, so that's the bug. Please fix it. Okay, so that's gonna be the prompt that we'll be using for both. I think that's a good enough prompt. It didn't work last time when we tried with Claude Code. So let's say if GPT-5 can fix this, right? So this is the app. It's already running. And this is the cursor tab. So I'm gonna point cursor to index.html and then just give it this prompt and see what happens, right? I think I still have some free credits, so let's just run this. I did run GPT-5 before this stream to just test it out. I think it's a little bit slow today. I hope it's gonna be faster since it's weekend, but let's see. So it actually does planning, and the default one already have thinking. I don't think there's a way you can turn this off, so I'm just gonna leave this on. And this is the default model, I suppose, for the cursor right now. Let's see. So it's trying to understand everything. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is that we can check the indexing. This is indeed indexed, so we're not, comparing apples to oranges. It's all the features that the tool supports. We are using it. I suppose this app doesn't have the Claude.md equivalent for cursor, but I think that's a minor issue. So because this app is so simple, right? It's only a few files. So let's see. There's a significant bug. Okay. So I'm not sure. We can look at this thought process actually. So I think this is not the raw one, but actually I'm not sure if this is the raw one, but it seems like it's trying to figure out how to calculate some math probably. There's a lot of math calculations inside this app because it's all canvas, and we need to do a lot of transformation and rotation and what's the opposite of transformation? Yeah, something else that is equivalent of the opposite of transform. I forgot what's the term, but we basically need to do a lot of those things. And it's trying to update this file, but it's taking very long. I wonder why it's taking very long. Maybe it's a capacity issue. Yeah, for those who have just joined, I'm just giving cursor a task to fix a bug that you can see on your screen on the bottom left. Okay. So it created a bunch of. Okay, so I guess it changed how the calculations are done. Created a new method called get rotation center and get text matrix. I think. Is this a new method? Text matrix. Wait. Yeah, this is the new method. Okay, so it's trying to do some refactoring. Okay. Is it done yet? Okay, I think it's done and it says it used 10% of token. Okay, so this is something good. So this is done. So let's see if it works. So it didn't crash. That's a good thing. Let's try to rotate this. Okay, it still doesn't seem to that well. Oh, let's see. I think it does allow us to, let's see, let's rotate this 15 degrees. See if we can, oh, we still cannot select it. See? It's not responding to my clicks. Yeah, so this is still not working as expected. You can see here the cursor is not turning into a selection thing, whereas for this one that is not rotated, I can move it around. For this one I can't. So I think it's safe to say that cursor also failed this task. So let's give it another try, right? Didn't work. Try again. So let's give both tools 2 tries. Actually, let me quickly check that I am actually running the new code. Let's keep all. I think it is running the new code, right? Yeah, this is definitely running the correct version of the code. Yeah, it doesn't work. So let's give it another try. We want to use the same prompt for both tools. Let's see how well it does to respond to my feedback. Dig deeper. Maybe my description of the problem isn't that good, but I think it should get what I mean, right? Okay, so it's thinking quite a lot. I'm not sure. I think Sonnet wouldn't be able to think for so long. I don't know if it's actually gonna fix the problem. So basically, if it's not rotated, we can move the item around, but if it's rotated, I can't select it. I have to kind of reset the rotation, then I can select this. So this is the bug. Let's see if it fixes this bug. Use canvas pass it. Same as rendering logic. Okay. Is this a new method? Okay, it is a new method. And it's not even implemented. I think it's trying to implement a point in path method to calculate if a point is inside a path. Okay. I don't think there is such a method. This is weird. Where does this method come from? The function rotates the mouse. Okay, it looks like GPT-5 is just hallucinating out this new method from nowhere. It's definitely not inside the code base. Wait, does the context actually have? I don't think that's a canvas built-in method, right? I don't think so. Oh, it is. Oh, interesting. So I didn't know this. This is actually a built-in method by Canvas. Oh, I learned something. Okay. So I was wrong. GPT-5 is actually smart to use this method. But does it actually work though? Let's see. This method is a Canvas 2D API to report whether a specific point is contained in the path. But this is like a path though, not a area, right? So I don't know if it would actually. Okay, it seems like it's used. Ah, okay. Path to the. Oh, okay. So the path, if the path is enclosed, it's able to detect whether it's inside or not. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so this can potentially work. So it's done all the changes. Let's see if it actually works. Okay, so this is the text element. I'm gonna rotate it, and okay, so it still doesn't work. I still can't click on it. Yeah, it's still, you can see this, the bounding box for click is still like below it. Yeah, so it still doesn't work, right? So I guess the conclusion is that GPT-5 didn't really fix this bug even after 2 tries. I think yeah, so it didn't work. Failed. Okay, I guess it did use this new thing, used this method. That didn't work. Yeah, so GPT-5 has failed for this task. Let's try Claude Code again. I think last time when we were first building this, it didn't work. Let's see if it works now, right? So let's check out all the changes by Cursor and GPT-5. Okay, so I have reset the project back, and then now we can try the Claude Code, right? So let's try the Claude Code. So we're gonna use the same prompt for the Claude Code and point it to the same file, which is the index.html file. I'm just gonna run Claude Code and then make sure that it's inside index.html. I'm gonna close the cursor tab, bring this up a bit, and then just paste this. Yeah, so let's enter. Okay, I guess Claude Code has a little bit of advantage because it has the cloud.mt file, but I don't think that's important because it's basically just a few files. It shouldn't affect that much. Okay, so it's actually doing something very similar to what Cursor is doing. It's trying to kind of redo the calculation for its point inside. I think the actual bug is probably something very stupid and simple. That's why both are not able to solve this. So Claude Code claims that it's solved. Let's see. I don't think so. So you can see here, this one I can drag and drop it anywhere. For this one I can't. I have to go like slightly below the element. It's still incorrect implementation. I think it's still buggy. Let me try again. It did work slightly better when it's not rotated a lot, but if I rotate it like 16 degrees, then it's completely unselectable. Yeah, so it didn't work. Let's try again. I'm surprised that both GPT-5 and Claude Code can't solve this issue. Maybe it's just my prompt. My prompt is a little bit vague. Does not respond to hover. Respond to hover or click. I guess that's a better prompt, right? This is a better prompt. I think the previous prompt was a little bit weird. So if it doesn't work, let's try the second version of the prompt and see if it actually works. Okay, so it's rewritten the code again. Let's see. Still doesn't seem to work. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay. So yeah, both Claude Code also failed. Basically, and Claude Code took a lot less time, a lot faster to fail. Sorry, I'm failing. 55 think a lot. So it makes me believe that maybe it's the problem of my prompt, right? So let's revert all the changes again and just try the new prompt, right? This and then try a new prompt that I just made. So again, go to index.html file and then give it a new prompt, right? So this is prompt v1 that didn't work. Try this one. This should be much clearer, right? It doesn't respond to hover or click when the element is rotated. Yeah, I think that's very clear on what the bug is. I'm surprised both can't fix this seemingly easy bug. I guess it's doing the same change all over again. It looks like exactly the same change. So let's see this. Oh wait, now it works. Holy shit. Oh, it works. Oh, okay. So you can see here the cursor actually changed to select. That's nice. Let me try this one. Let's give it a minus. Okay, it works. Now I can select the text that's being rotated. That's crazy. Okay. Oh, so it seems like the solution was to edit that file. It's just that you need to edit it very precisely and correctly. Right? Okay, cool. So this actually works. Claude Code works on first try. That's really good. Let me try to save this code somehow and then come back to this because I actually need this feature to work. So let's create a new branch. Claude Code works, and then commit this change. So I'm gonna commit this change and then I'm gonna check out to the original branch where the change hasn't happened, and I'm gonna try the same prompt on Cursor, right? Hopefully Cursor hasn't tried to learn from my commit. I hope so. Otherwise it will be cheating. So let's try the same prompt on Cursor again. Yeah, that was surprising. Also, it turns out that my prompt actually affected how it thinks, right? because it wasn't very clear on what the problem is. So let's try out this prompt on Cursor with index.html. Let's go. So the problem, now we know the problem is solvable by just editing that one simple function, and let's see how Cursor does it. Okay, I think maybe so okay, if it doesn't fix it, I will tell it to try again. I think that's still a better prompt than restarting over. So if it doesn't work, I'll try this prompt. But now we know Cursor, Claude Code can solve it on the first try. I'm so happy that I decided to change my prompt, so it actually worked. Okay, so you can see here, GPT-5 in Cursor is spending a lot of time searching and getting no results, and that's a little bit weird. And thinking about it, yeah, it spent a lot of time thinking. I think this is a trait of GPT-5. Whereas Sonnet wasn't actually thinking, because I wasn't using the thinking version, so it's a lot faster, at least on that front. The Sonnet is still much better than GPT-5 in terms of speed. That's very obvious. Anyone who says that GPT-5 is faster than Sonnet is just lying straight. As you can see clearly, it's just the thinking 32 seconds of Sonnet would have already solved the problem correctly. So okay, so it's actually making similar changes. Interesting. So this was the correct place to change, or based on what Claude Code has done. So I think it's on the right track. For those who just joined, we're trying to give the same bug. We're trying to ask both Claude Code and Cursor GPT-5 to solve the same bug and see which one can solve it. In the first prompt, both didn't work, so both failed on the first attempt. But when I give my improved prompt, Claude Code worked on the first try, right? So now I'm trying to test out the Cursor with GPT-5. So looks like it made a shorter change than Claude Code. So let's see if it works. Oh yeah, it did work. Okay. So turns out the problem was my prompt. Oh, but this rotation thing didn't work. I guess that's not the problem I told it, right? So you can see after I rotate this, I can still select this. Yeah. So I think after I revise the prompt, both models managed to solve this task. Yeah, so I guess that's a conclusion. So GPT-5 also worked on first try. Okay, that's good to know. So I guess the moral of the story for this task is that the prompt is really important. You can see these two prompts can look similar, but I just said it more specifically that it does not respond to hover or click, right? I said it slightly more specific instead of just saying rendering and detecting clicks, and that helped the model. So I guess the tip for bug fixing is to describe the problem as specific as possible. So that does help. So for this bug fix, both actually work on the first try given the correct prompt. Now let's move on to the second thing we want to do. So the second task I want to give to both models is to add a text border for my little app. So let me actually commit this first because it's actually working. So I want to commit this. We'll take the cursor one because that's just what we have now. It works for Bugfix. So now let me go back to my app. So this is the app I'm building. You can see we have these tags here, and I want to be able to add like some kind of border to the text, like similar to how like typical YouTube thumbnail looks like. You have some kind of border around the text. I don't know what you call it. I guess border is the correct term. If someone has a better suggestion for the correct term, please let me know. It basically gives an outline to each letter, right? I guess outline or letter, I don't know. I actually don't know what's the correct term, but let's try the prompt. We'll maybe try 2 prompts again, right? So let's see. Add a new feature to allow user to add a border or outline to the text. I may just put this in bracket. So I think this is a good description for a task. So let's just use this. If anyone has better suggestion on how to describe this task, please let me know. I think it's called border or outline, right? In Photoshop. Let's see. Last time we tried GPT-5 first. So this time let's try Claude Code first. So let me close all this. Push this. Close this. Open up Claude Code. Going a little bit up, so you can see I'm still gonna point it to index.html, and then I'm gonna copy paste this here. Let me be more specific. Text element. Okay, I guess text element is a little bit vague to the text inside the letters, characters, text, letters. Let's just say letter. I think this is a clearer prompt. Okay, let's try. Text border, right? Okay, I guess text border is the correct way to describe it. Text border. Not really. That's not a text border. Letter, outline, yes. Font outline. Yeah, I think font outline might be the better one. Let's try that if it didn't. I think this is trying to add the border to the text element itself, not the font, which is not what I want. And it doesn't seem to work. Let's wait until this finishes. You can use drop shadow, yeah, I think so. I think the problem is I'm rendering everything on canvas, so I'm not sure drop shadow works on canvas. Probably works. I'm not too sure if drop shadow works on. Text border, blah blah blah. I'm not sure if it understands my requirement clearly. So doesn't seem to work. Thoughts on Cursor? Is it your favorite? It was my favorite in January of 2025. That's when it was really good. So I bought the Cursor annual plan. I bought the Cursor annual plan in January. You can see I've been paying for it, but I've moved on to Claude Code since like 2 or 3 months ago because it was just much better than Cursor. But now with GPT-5, so I want to see which one is better. That's why I'm making this live stream, right, to test them out. So let's see if this actually works. Oh wait, I think it did work. Oh wow, it works. That's crazy. It actually understood my requirement, right? I didn't have to say. That's really nice. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Yeah, it works. It definitely works. Yeah, it absolutely works. That's crazy. Works. Okay, so Claude Code clearly works. That's good to know. And it's saved to local storage, right? Yeah. So I guess the conclusion is Claude Code works on the first try. Claude Code with GLM, yeah. GLM is, I've heard a lot of good things about GLM. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to test the GLM 4.5. But I will be very soon, so subscribe. I think I will be having a GLM 4.5 video live stream very soon to test it out. I heard it's better than Kimi K2 and Bank Tricoder. Yeah, so let me undo all these changes by importing my previous project. Let me import back the old project. Okay, so this is another one that I was working on. Let me try another one. Okay, I guess we'll use this one. It's basically the same. So now we know that this works. I'm gonna save this to another branch. Cloud. Just call it CC exporter working, and then I'm gonna commit this change. So this is the working one from Claude Code, and now I'm gonna give the same prompt to Cursor, right? So check. Yeah. If you make video on how to create system prompt, this will help. I'm not sure if you need system prompts for Claude Code or Cursor, because you just tell it what to do, and the system prompt is kind of built into Claude Code and Cursor. I'm not sure what you mean by system. Okay, let's give this prompt to Cursor and see if it actually works. Add a new feature to allow user to add order to letters inside. I think this is a very clear requirement, so you should be able to understand it, hopefully. Yeah, so while we're doing that, our previous bug fix on the rotation is already done, so we can now really rotate and select our elements. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure if the image one works. Let's try. Okay, seems like the image one also works. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see, GPT-5 is still thinking, so this is the part that I don't really like. Create AI native application. I have a lot of experience creating AI native application. That's what I do. So I have a lot of apps that are built around AI. So this is 16x eval, which I use to evaluate different models. So this is what I built. If you want to check it out, you can check it out here. I'll probably do a lot of model evaluation streams in the future. We're using this app, so yeah, this is one I would consider AI native app. It's like basically literally a app to test AI. So yeah, if you are interested, I can definitely do some streams on that. It's basically how to wrap around different providers and building agentic workflows or agents and stuff like that. Yeah. Thanks for the compliment. It's still going on. I must say the UI looks better than a few months ago for Cursor. Use V0. Yeah, V0 is the OG, right, for front-end stuff. But seems like nobody talk about them anymore, except for Roush. So I don't know what happened to them. Loubo seems to be the favorite right now. So let's see if it actually works. Oh, okay, so it does work as well. First try works. Yeah, definitely working. Give it another try. Yes, works. Okay, so Cursor also got it first try. Looks like my tasks are not hard enough for the AI tools nowadays. Yeah, so this is kind of quite easy for both, I guess. I wouldn't say which one is better. I think both of them achieve the feature perfectly on the first try. So yeah, I'm quite happy with both. Not gonna take a look at both in detail. I'm just gonna keep them and commit them. Right, so this is the text outline working. Okay, cool. So we finished our second new feature to add text border, and both of them work on the first try, right? So far so good. They're tying. The performance seems to be a tie. I guess I should say Claude GPT-5, right? Be more exact. Okay, so let's move on to the third feature. So we're gonna test adding shapes as subtle background patterns, right? So basically you can see here we have different patterns, the stripes, the solid, dots here. I want to add more shapes as subtle patterns, right? So things like circles or I don't know, squares or rectangles as subtle background patterns. So that's something I want to add. So let's see if anyone give them a good output. So this is actually a more open-ended request, right? So we can test out the model's creativity, how it interprets users' intent versus request, and how it's able to handle the aesthetics side of things. So I think this is a good test for the models. Let's see. Let me craft a prompt for this task. Add a feature to allow users to add shapes as subtle background patterns. So the shapes should have a similar kind of color as the background color, but can form subtle patterns that look aesthetically pleasing. Similar color as the background color, but form subtle patterns that look aesthetically pleasing. Okay, I think that's a good prompt. That's a good prompt. That's what I would tell my engineers to do if I have engineers. So let's see. Let's try GPT-5 first for this prompt, because we were working with We did the Claude Code first last time, so let's do the GPT-5 first. So I'm gonna give this to Cursor GPT-5 with index.html. So yeah, let's see how well it does. Okay, this is gonna be a very long. Oh, okay, it seems like it's a little bit faster. I don't know. This is a new UI, I must say. I haven't used Cursor in like 1 or 2 weeks, and the new UI does look nicer than the old one. But for 6 seconds, okay. Oh, I guess I made a mistake for the prompt. I should say shapes as subtle background pattern. Let's see how well it interprets, right? I mean, mistakes can happen in the prompt, so it's a good test on model's ability to interpret. Yeah, I made a mistake, made a typo here. It should be shapes as subtle background patterns, not and. I blame Whisperflow, right? Whisperflow is the app I'm using to voice type, so it seems like it's not 100% accurate. Let's see. Create shapes, add subtle background patterns, blend, blah blah blah, shapes too, shape, blah blah blah. It's still planning. Wow, it's taking so long to just plan. I don't know. I guess it's kind of required, but I wouldn't expect it to be planning for so long. Oh, it's trying to add a shape element. That's not what I had in mind, but let's see how well it does. I think that would work. I want it to be more like automatic, right? Instead of controlling each element. I guess I wasn't really specific in my requirement, so let's see how well it does. Understanding, trying to decipher users' intent behind the request is also a good measure of model's intelligence, I guess. So far, I must say GPT-5 is quite slow. I would really like an option to turn off thinking or make it shorter, think shorter in Cursor. I don't see an option. You see, it says a medium reasoning effort is being used. I wonder if I can just turn off the thinking and still get a good outcome. I think probably not, right? Based on OpenAI's GPT-5 blog posts, they kind of say that without the thinking, it's not very good, right? I think it's not very good without the thinking. There's a chart on thinking versus non-thinking. Wait, where's the chart on thinking versus non? Can't find it anymore. Basically, there was a chat on thinking performance versus non-thinking performance. Is it here? Yeah, you can see here, like thinking and non-thinking, right? The performance gap is quite big. But I wonder if it's actually the thinking that makes it good, right? If I turn off thinking, then model becomes less good, and then you have to bear with the consequence of waiting for longer just to get on par performance with Claude. Yeah, so basically GPT-5 with thinking can match Claude Sonnet 4, but GPT-5 without thinking cannot match it. But with the thinking version, you're gonna waste a lot of time waiting for the thinking, right? So I think if you look at it that way, it's not really like 100% better than than Claude Code, right? So GPT-5 with thinking spend a lot of time on thinking, right? I guess, yeah. But without thinking, GPT-5 benchmark performance is way worse, right? So basically assuming that GPT-5 with thinking can match Claude Sonnet for performance, it is the downside will be the penalty. The downside will be the speed, right? Downside of using GPT-5 basically is the speed. It's much slower, right? Yeah, I guess this is the key takeaway. So GPT-5 with thinking can match Sonnet but slower, and then GPT-5 without thinking is worse, right? I assume it's worse. Assumption is worse than Claude Sonnet 4. That's my assumption here. So yeah, that doesn't give a very good look for GPT-5, right? Let's say that GPT-5 without thinking can perform as good as Claude Sonnet 4, then I would expect Cursor to give us the option to turn off thinking. But Cursor didn't give us, so that's the assumption that I'm making. Let's see the models actually. Can we turn off thinking? No, we can't, right? There's no GPT-5 without thinking. I guess there is GPT-5 low. We can try that, but that's not the default, right? So there is a way to turn off thinking. So yeah, so GPT-5 have finally finished this. I think it took like much longer than Sonnet. Oh wait, we haven't tested Sonnet. I'm hallucinating. So the first thing we test is GPT-5. Let's see. Let's see the result. Okay, so we were trying to add shapes. So let's see if it has shapes. Subtle grid. Huh? There's no grid? I don't see any grid. What's happening? There's nothing. Oh wait, I'm supposed to add. Oh wait. Wait, what? Why are there shapes like here? Add circle. Add rectangle. Okay, it's very subtle. Basically, you can't actually see it. Like, I can't actually see it. It's too subtle. Yeah, that's very subtle. I can't actually see the shape. And the subtle grid. Oh, now I can see the subtle grid. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. Yeah, it's way too subtle that I don't think people on the stream can see it. You need a very good monitor to be able to see the subtle pattern. Okay, so let's try to make it less subtle, right? Yes. It's too subtle that I can barely see it. Yeah, let's provide the feedback bit and see how it handles the feedback. I mean, it did work. So it added the pattern and it added the shape. So it kind of covered both grounds. I think it does look okay. It's just the colors are like very, very subtle. Adding a pattern strength. Okay, that's cool. Adding a shape control, increasing the default shape intensity. Okay, seems to be reasonable. Okay, it thought for 31 seconds for that. I think I'm burning GPUs. I'm burning OpenAI GPUs right now. That's crazy. Thought for 31 seconds. The model made no changes to the file. Okay. Oh my god, this is so verbose, man. Thinking of so long. It reminds me of Gemini 2.5 Pro. Just talk non-stop. Trans pattern value. I think we're too spoiled by the Claude Code already. Claude Code is so fast. I mean, it's slow, but it's like faster than this, right? So comparatively, Claude Code is actually faster because it doesn't think so much. And this one, you just have to for a very long time. Back. Assuming that thinking is very important for model's performance, then it's I don't know what this graph is saying. I don't know if this with thinking refers to all three of them or just the one on the left. That's a chart crime again. Yeah, this color is too hard to tell, right? Yeah, you can see basically for all the tests, if you turn off thinking, then it's actually worse, right? I think the correct way to use this model is to use thinking, but thinking introduces so much delay and waiting time that it's just not a very good user experience in my perspective. Yeah, let me know what you think. What do you guys think? Do you want to wait for the model to think, or you rather model just give the code and proceed without thinking? I don't really like that the models spend so much time thinking. Let's see how well it does now. Okay, now it looks less subtle. Subtle grid, pattern strength. Okay, so now I have a slider to adjust. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. So does it work for the other ones? It doesn't seem like it. Okay, only works for the subtle pattern. I think that's pretty good. I didn't ask for this, but I'm glad that I have this now. Let's try to add some shapes. So the circle shape. Okay. Can I drag this? I can't actually drag this. It looks like this cannot be resized. Okay. So that's gonna be a problem. If I can't resize these elements, then they're less useful, right? Okay, I guess it does the job. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it does the job, right? So So I think the result is GPT-5 does the job, implements subtle patterns and shapes, cannot resize shape, added intensity control for user feedback. What are we coding? We're coding a YouTube thumbnail maker app. So I'm trying to add some feature and do some bug fixes app. Yeah, well, I guess I should update the to-do. So we basically fixed the bounding box issue, and now we're working on new features. Let me update the stream to-do thing. So we already added the text border, so now we're trying to add shapes and subtle background patterns. Right? So I just updated the stream to-do. Yeah, so I guess GPT-5 does the job, added intensity, and cannot resize the shape, so it's not very useful. There's an opacity filter. Okay, you can rotate this. Okay, you can rotate this. Okay, that's better. That's better than add rounded rectangle. Okay, so you can add 4 different shapes, rotate them. Okay, add 4 different shapes, rotate them and rotate them. Add the intensity control, cannot resize shape. Yeah, so I guess that's the result from GPT-5. Let's try to read this, right? Yeah, it's a canvas. Yeah, it's like Canva. Yeah, exactly. We're using canvas to remake this YouTube thumbnail thing from Canva. So I think Canva have this YouTube thumbnail maker. I'm trying to remake this myself. Yeah, so let's say I would give it a 7 out of 10. I would give it a 7 out of 10. It did the job, but it's lacking some features. I think this is a key feature that is lacking. And to be honest, it didn't really thought about what I want. I actually want it to be more automatic so that I don't have to fiddle with where to place this, and I just want it to work, right? It didn't actually capture my intent. Didn't capture my intention. I think that's what is missing. Behind the request. Automatic subtle patterns. Yeah, so I will give it a 7 out of 10. So let's clear all this. I will just check out the new branch. Cursor subtle. Let me commit all this and switch back. Let me load the old project back. Yeah, so that's the cursor. I will give it a 7 out of 10. Let's try the Claude Code, right? So wait, why is there a okay? That's the text outline one. Why are there still changes? You should make thumbnail maker plus title suggestion. Interesting. Yeah, I will probably make a title suggestion thing that can summarize my stream and generate a viral title, right? And maybe a few options. Actually, that's very similar to the other app that I'm making. to generate a blog post. So you can select models and then create a blog post based on that. You don't have to come with title. Yeah. I have a similar app for blog posts, but I don't have one to generate the title for the stream. I think I will do that probably very soon. Yeah, that's a very good suggestion. What am I doing? I almost forgot what I'm doing. So yeah, so let's try the same prompt with Claude Code. So GPT-5 got a so we're trying to for the YouTube timeline thing. Let's try the same prompt to add shape and subtle background patterns for Claude Code. So I'm just gonna copy this prompt, paste it into Claude Code. We're inside the index.html file, and this is a prompt. Let's see. Is this 260? Yeah. That's all the 16x stuff are built by me. I don't know what you mean by is this you? But all these apps are built by me, including this one. Let's see. Yeah, I will expect the Claude Code to be much faster. Anyway, we can go back to the timestamp to see which one spend less time, which one spend more time. But I think it's fairly obvious that Claude Code is faster. By the way, I'm running the Sonnet model. Yeah, I'm running the Sonnet model. It's going up anyway. Yeah, the $20 plan. And for Cursor, I'm using the $10 plan, but they are giving me the GPT-5 for the weekend, so I'm just testing it out. So let's see. Okay, Claude Code also decided to create a shape element class. Okay, extend the background renderer with subtle pattern support and shape control, update canvas, and shape serialization persistence. Okay, I think we forgot to test the shape serialization support, but I think that's quite easy to do. I'm mainly concerned about the aesthetics. Will you give the score at the end as you go? Yeah, I do give score, so I have all the ratings here. So for the bug fix, both work on the first try. For my V2 prompt, I think both I get maybe a 10 out of 10, I guess, for this one. And then the text border also both worked, so I can't really say anything bad about them. So both are 10 out of 10. So far they are tied. And then this is the one that separates the two, right? Because this feature is more subjective and more open-ended. So it really tests the model's capability understanding the user's intention. So I want it to actually be automatic, as simple as possible, and look aesthetically pleasing. So that's very the sky is the limit in terms of what it can do. GPT-5, I will give it a 7 out of 10, but let's see how well Claude Code does. I think at least it's gonna be faster than GPT-5, right? I should probably say it's quite slow. So a lot of thinking. I don't think there's a demand issue right now because it's a weekend, right? I don't expect people to be, at least the professional coding people won't be using it. I guess maybe people are using ChatGPT, which caused the resource constraint, I guess so. But the thinking process itself definitely takes a lot more time. You can see Claude Code has already almost finished it. I let everyone use some kind of AI more than others out of history. Which one is preferred? Yeah, that's a very good question. I actually prefer Gemini for writing. So if I go back to this app that I built, you can see I'm using a lot of Gemini 2.5 for my writing stuff. Gemini 2.5 is actually better for writing in my observation. So that's for writing, and for coding I just use Claude Code, and the default is Sonnet 4, so I just use Sonnet 4. So I think for coding, Sonnet 4 is definitely the top. I mean, it was the top before GPT-5 release, so now we're trying to see if it's still the top, right? And then if you're wondering for open source models, I do have a eval here that tests all the models, and so far I think in my latest testing, GPT-OSS 120B is actually the best open source model for coding based on my testing. Better than Kimi K2, Quentry Coder, and DeepSeek V3. So that's my testing. So if you're looking for an open source one or cheap one, I think GPT-OSS 120B is a good solution, is a good option. It's available on OpenRouter with a lot of providers, so yeah, definitely try it out. Let's see. Okay, so Claude Code has already finished. Let's see whether it works. Okay, so now we have a few more patterns here. Geometric. Okay, looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. It's like rectangles. Hexagon. Okay, interesting. Hexagon. Waves. Okay, I guess probably people on the stream can't see, so let's switch to another color. That's more obvious. Waves and circles, right? Circles and dots are probably very similar. Waves, hexagon, geometry. Okay, looks pretty nice. Can we add shapes? Okay, so we can add rectangle, circle, and triangle. Let's try a circle. Okay. Can we resize it? Yes, we can resize it. Okay. So that's already a plus for Claude Code, because we can resize it and we can change opacity. So basically, if you remember, we had to give feedback to GPT-5. We have to give feedback to GPT-5 to add intensity control, but for Claude Code, it just have this opacity slider by default, so that's good. Oh, we can even change the shape here. I don't remember being able to change the shape for cursor. That's very interesting. That's very cool, right? I didn't think of this, but Claude Code added this. That's really cool. That's very cool. Oh, unfortunately, I can't make it. I guess if I change this, oh, it does work. So I can just change this and make it a larger or smaller rectangle. Yeah, this is very nice. This is very nice. Okay, cool, very cool. Let's see if the rotation works. Yep, works. Rotation also works. Yeah, and this is actually exactly what I wanted, right? Like, obviously my face should be above this, but it looks very nice. Yeah, I think I need to add a feature to add the layering and stuff, but so far it looks very nice. So for Claude Code, I think the clear winner is Claude Code. Does a very good job. It does implement the subtle patterns and shapes. comes with opacity slider by default, and resize shape, can change shape, and what else it does? Can rotate the shape, right? I forgot to test whether we can rotate the shape. Oh yeah, I can rotate the shape, right? So we have three different shapes. Can rotate them, can resize shape, and change shape. Yeah, because of the ability to resize and change shape, I think this is just a much better job than the cursor, right? Yep. Now I can do a lot more interesting stuff with. Oh, there's even a border with. Okay, I didn't even notice there's a border. Oh, you can even change the color. Oh, that's pretty cool. So basically, we can do a lot with this shape, right? And resize shape, can change color, can change color as well. Yeah. Resize shape, change width and height. Yeah, basically you can do a lot more with shapes. I'm gonna give it a higher rating than Cursor GPT-5. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I can't really find any fault to this. Added 4 patterns. 4 subtle patterns. Whereas Cursor gave us 2 subtle patterns. Okay. Yeah, definitely a much better job than Cursor did. So there you have it. Claude Code got a rating of 9 out of 10, and Cursor plus GPT-5 only 7 out of 10. So the rumors are true, right? So the online reviews are true. Claude Code is still the better coding agent compared to Cursor plus GPT-5, and faster. That's crazy, right? So that's the conclusion for our first project, Claude Code 1. That's the first project. We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes into the stream. Let's move on to the second project. Oh, before that, let me push this code to remote so that you guys can test it out. So I'll definitely take the Claude Code implementation. So I'm just gonna push this to GitHub, and then you guys will be able to visit the live application here. So this is the repo here, and then this is the live application. You can see it's already live. Yeah, so what we just built is already live. You can try out this app that we have the new shapes and stuff built by Claude Code. It all looks pretty good. Yeah. Very good, very nice. Now let's move on to our second project, which is the model benchmark visualization. So this is actually evaluation I do for all the models. So you can see here, this is my repo, model bench viz, and I basically gave the same prompt to all the models and then asked them to generate a benchmark visualization of two benchmarks. One is the Hader Polyglot, one is the K-Course LLM Arena. I asked them to generate the visualization for both. And you can see here are all the results from different models. And then I rate each one of them. So I've done this for all the different models that have came out recently. So you can check it out here. I send the link to the chat. And today we're gonna be doing something slightly different. So we're, instead of asking a model to do this, we're gonna ask the AI coding tool to do this, right? So we're gonna be testing Claude Code versus Cursor plus GPT-5, because I think that's what most people are gonna use GPT-5 in, and that's what OpenAI demo, right? We're gonna compare Claude Code versus Cursor GPT-5 on generating this visualization. Oh, by the way, Claude Code we're using Sonnet 4. Yeah, so I already have this repo set up. So basically what happens is that so this is the repo, and I created a tools folder and then a cursor folder here. This cursor folder will only have a few things: the raw data in JSON format, a sample HTML file, and the prompt. So this way, the tool, which is Cursor in this case, can only access these three files, right? So basically, this is what the project looks like. We have the prompt, the result, and the sample index.html. This is just a random VS Code config. Ignore that. So we're gonna try to give the same prompt to both Cursor GPT-5 and Claude Code to test how they generate the benchmark file, right? Something like this. So we have the prompt here. I'm thinking whether I should ask the agent to read the prompt file or do I just copy paste it. I think reading the prompt file should work. Let's try that. So our prompt would be, so our prompt is work on a task given in prompt.empty, right? And then we'll use a corresponding method to add this file. So yeah, so all these files are in the same folder, so it should be able to access these files. So let's try it out. Work on task given in, let me add this prompt. Yeah, so we select this prompt file. We explicitly mention the file using the correct syntax, and then let's see what Cursor does. It's supposed to generate an index.html file that contains the visualization. The sample file just looks like this. Okay, it's trying to think through how to do this. I don't know if people are actually gonna be reading these thoughts, but I think a better use of time is to just watch some YouTube videos or do something else, read a book, go take a walk or something while the agent is working, I guess. Unless you're stuck in a stream like me. Yeah, we need to find a way to spend all this time waiting for the agent, right? So let me know what you guys do when you are waiting for the agent to finish. I typically just do other things like do some marketing and maybe go watch some YouTube videos. Yeah, it's just nothing much to do. Especially this GPT-5 seems to be quite slow. Okay, finally it finished generating a index.html file. Looks pretty normal to me. Let's see if it works, right? We have the index.html file here. It's still planning the next move. Crazy. Yeah, that's all done. Let's try to open. Okay. I must say this looks pretty good. So it does the comparison side by side, which is what I want. It used the horizontal layout, which is actually a better way to do compared to all these vertical bar charts, because you can display the model name with more space. And it colored the different models, and then it used solid versus a hollow styling to differentiate the two models, to differentiate the two benchmarks. I must say this is one of the better ones I've generated. Let's try to give it a rating. I do have the rating rubrics. For it. Let me quickly open my other app that I use to rate these models and look for my rubrics. My rubrics is okay. So this is the evaluation rubrics for this task. Let's see how well it does. It did. So we have a side-by-side visualization with labels. So without label is 8.5. So we have side-by-side, dark mode by default, which is the trait for GPT-5. No other model does dark mode by default. And then we have clear labels, and we have a horizontal bar chart, right? And we have the hollow versus solid to differentiate different benchmarks. Okay, this looks pretty good, right? So let's see. So we have 8.5 plus 8.5 here plus 0.5 for clear labels, and we have an alternative way to differentiate benchmarks. This gives additional 0.5. And then we have the visually pleasing, which is another 0.5 rating. Okay, so I think this overall is a very good looking visualization. I didn't expect it to be this nice. So this was a very pleasant surprise. Let me take a screenshot of this and put it inside my result. So this is Cursor GPT-5. I think so, right? This was using Cursor GPT-5 raw. Okay. So what do we have? This is 9.5. 9.75. Okay, so this is gonna be the highest rating I've ever given to a model, 9.75. Side by side with labels, and we have different ways to differentiate the benchmark. So this is the highest rating I've given. The previous highest rating was Claude Opus 4, and this is what it generated. You can compare this to. Yeah, basically what Claude Opus was missing is the labels, these medals on top of the bar chart. Yeah. I think the labels are inside. Yeah, the labels are inside prompt, so it's a requirement. Okay. So we have the Cursor plus GPT-5 at 9.5. Now let's... Okay. Now let's test out Claude Code and Sonnet 4 for this task. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new folder called Claude Code, and we're gonna initialize Claude Code inside here without the index.html, of course. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're still gonna open the cursor, and then we're gonna initialize Claude Code inside this project. Okay, so we have initialized Claude Code here, and we're gonna do the same prompt. So work on the task given in prompt.m. So we're gonna give the exact same prompt, something like this. Yeah, I think this looks good. We're inside the prompt file. Oh. Examining existing files. Create HTML visualization. Implement labeling. Okay. Interesting. So it's actually trying to do it in 2 steps, right? So only do the labeling and color coding in the second step, which is interesting. I kind of forgot how Cursor did it. Probably also a few steps. So all these model benchmarks were done in 1 step, right? So there's no back and forth and break it down into several steps. It's all one zero shot. But for this one, it's actually multiple steps. Okay, it's already done. That was very fast. Let's see how well it does. Okay. Not too bad, but it's missing the label, right? It's missing the label for the top 3, and it's not a side-by-side comparison. I guess the labels are in the model name, but this is not really a label on the bar chart. And overall, it just doesn't look as good as the one generated from GPT-5, right? Objectively speaking, this is worse generation compared to Cursor and GPT-5. So it's not side by side. No labels. Is it visually pleasing? I don't know. It doesn't look visually pleasing to me. compared to say this one generated by Crook. It's even, I think it's even worse than the generated. Yeah, the colors and everything doesn't seem that good. Yeah, it's even worse than the raw model, right? I think. Yeah, that's weird. But there are some variants in this kind of test, so yeah. But well, we only have one chance, and this is how it went. Let's see the evaluation criteria. So that's 8 out of 10. And no labels, not visually pleasing. The color choice was okay, not too bad, but not very good as well. So that's a 8 out of 10, right? Okay. So we have the winner, which is Cursor plus GPT-5 for this particular task. So for this visualization task, Cursor plus GPT-5 got the 9.75 out of 10, the highest rating I've ever given. And then Claude Code only got 8 out of 10 with Sonnet 4. So yeah, so that's the second task. So the winner is Cursor plus GPT-5, right? So the winner is Cursor plus GPT-5 for this one. And then for the first project, I guess, for the first project, winner is Claude Code. Okay, so we have two different projects with two different winners. I guess that does make sense, right? Their capabilities are quite similar sense. So score is 9.75 for Cursor and 8 for Claude Code for this particular project. One Claude and one GPT. Yes. Okay. I think that's a very good situation to be in, right? So basically they are tied. If you look at the overall, right? So I don't think I have enough time for the third task for today. Yeah, because it's gonna be a very, very, very long stream otherwise. I think I'm gonna stop at these two tasks and let's just look at the conclusions. So we have the first project. We gave 3 tasks. For the bug fix task, both of them work on the first try after I refine my prompt. And for the second feature, both of them also work on the first try. For the third feature, Claude Code did a much better job, so I give it a 9 out of 10 and give Cursor a 7 out of 10. So for the first project overall, Claude Code plus Sonnet 4 was the winner. And for the second task, which is model benchmark realization, I gave Cursor plus GPT-5 a 9.75 out of 10 and Claude Code plus Sonnet an 8 out of 10. So the winner is Cursor plus GPT-5. So for 2 tasks, we have 2 different winners. That means they are actually very similar in terms of performance, right? Which would actually explain why the view is kind of polarizing on the internet. Some people say GPT-5 is better, some say Claude Code is still better. That makes sense because clearly when given 2 tasks, there's no clear winner, right? So one is better on one task and the other is better on the other task. That's kind of, I guess, the moral of the story, or the key takeaway is that for different kind of tasks, you can have so I guess the correct phrasing is some tools are better for certain tasks, while other tools are better for other tasks. Each tool have their particular like a better suited tasks. Actually, that's the wrong phrasing. The correct phrasing is for each task it depends. Yeah, I don't know if I have to how to choose. It's very hard to choose. But I think if you factor in the speed, right, Claude Code definitely. Basically, in terms of coding capabilities, it's like a tie. But then if you factor in the speed it takes, and so Claude Code is definitely still better because it's just much faster. For different type of tasks, you can have different performance. On some tasks, Cursor GPT-5 is better. On other tasks, Claude Code is better. But in terms of speed, Claude Code is much faster than GPT-5 in Cursor because it doesn't involve thinking. Yeah, I think that's the conclusion I want to make. So the conclusion is that it's a tie, right? For some tasks, Cursor plus GPT-5 is better. For other tasks, Claude Code plus Sonnet 4 is better. But Claude Code plus Sonnet 4 is faster than Cursor plus GPT. So if speed is what you value, then definitely Claude Code is still better. Yeah, that would be my conclusion. Yeah, so there you have it. I tried Claude Code and Cursor plus GPT-5 on 2 tasks and it's a tie. And we know that GPT-5 is quite slow. It might be due to the demand, but also because of the thinking. So yeah, so that's the end of the stream. I hope everyone enjoyed my testing. Let me know if you have any comments or suggestions for the stream. I'll probably be doing more streams with both actually. I will probably be streaming more of Claude Code versus Cursor plus GPT-5 in the coming days and weeks. I'm building new apps and adding features to my existing app like this one. And then also comparing their performance, right? Because when the new model come out, it might take some time for the tools to catch up. And also there's probably a new Claude model coming out. Yeah, so definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, 16x Engineer, and catch me in my future streams. I do all sorts of AI coding related streams and model evaluation streams. So I did a recent stream to evaluate the new model, GPT-OSS 120B. Thank you so much. Thank you for your feedback. It was interesting and entertaining and educational. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. So if you're looking for a model related live stream, you can watch my GPT-OSS 120B, where I evaluated the model's coding performance. It's the new top open source model. And I also do a live stream every Saturday on AI coding, so you can watch all my previous live streams that I did. Yeah, so that's all for today's stream. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll probably see you next week. Oh, let me try to take a good Pikachu face for my next video. think I got it. Yeah. Okay. You. Everyone. Bye bye.